I came from what many would call humble or challenging circumstances. My dad was in the Navy, and before my parents split up, I felt like I lived this perfect life. But then my parents split up when I was 11, and, my mom kind of raised me as a single mom. And with that came a lot of what I would say was turmoil, like a lot of moms, alone in the world trying to find their way. She had a couple boyfriends that were abusive. Sometimes we didn't have food in the house. There was a guy that would wrap this chain around our refrigerator and say the food was for him or that we could only eat when he allowed us to eat. And, I remember that for a pretty long period of time, all we had to eat ever was corn mush. And it would be kind of, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And, if you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so to this day, I'm always grateful for food. When food's in front of me, I have this crazy thankfulness and gratitude for food. For a long period of time, I carried that chip on my shoulder and used it as an excuse. I would say, look, I'm not like the rest of everybody else because these things happen to me. Now I look back upon that and I say, those experiences are what sharpened me and gave me the tools to succeed today. Those experiences made me resilient, made me strong, made me persistent, and made me realize there's always a better tomorrow, whatever circumstances you're facing. And so for you, if you've had some trauma in your life, you need to make a choice. You need to say, well, look, am I going to look back upon whatever happened to me as a reason for me to live better and treat others better and have the success that I'm entitled to? Or am I going to make all that an excuse and allow it to bog me down and weigh me down? And so, after kind of that childhood, I somehow ended up at Yale Law School, and I was, without question, if you've seen the movie Legally Blonde, I was the male Legally Blonde. The whole summer before, all I had done was surf every day. I was a busboy down in Pacific Beach where I live. And so I show up at Yale Law School with my flip-flops and my surf trunks and, not having been much of an academic my whole life. And so we have these little small groups. This person would be a Rhodes Scholar. This is a Fulbright Scholar. This is the son of a senator. This person is the valedictorian of Harvard College. And then there's me, basically, the Legally Blonde of Yale Law School. And so I would go to class my first year, and they would say so many words I'd never heard of before, and I would have to write them down. And I would go back at night and look them up, and then I would know those words. And so the list began to dwindle. At first it was like 15 words a day, and then it was like 10 words a day. And by the end of the first semester, I knew all the words at least. But I always said, look, I may not be the smartest guy, I may not be the most educated guy, I may not have had the best circumstances, I don't have famous parents, but I'm going to outwork everyone here. And my goal is, at the end of the race, I wanted to be better than the average Yale Law student in terms of my academic ranking. And so, I just studied and studied and studied. I would literally have a cup of coffee, my last of like 20 cups of coffee for that day, and then just fall asleep from exhaustion 5 minutes later. Whatever environment you're placed into, you can do it. If you put your mind to it and work as hard as you possibly can, you're there for a reason. And if you say, look, I'm going to succeed, I will myself to succeed, then you'll succeed as well.